Thank you for watching Poor Man's Workshop C. In this video, I'm going to be covering a little bit of blacksmithing and a shop update of how I've been organizing my shop. If you haven't seen part A and part B, go check that out so you can see the difference of how everything's been coming along. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe, share, and like. And thank you for the support. So this is the forging that I started a couple years ago for this lantern hook for my wife. I never really got around to finish it. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is I'm going to be cutting off this end here, that leaf. I'm going to straighten this out, and then the bottom of where the leaf is cut out, I'm going to shape it with the forge. So this way it'll have a nice profile. And of course, there's going to be a little shop update going on in this video, and hopefully you'll get some ideas of how to organize your shop. Let me show you what I have done so far in the metal / car area. I got my tool chest over against the wall. I have it organized. I have everything labeled. For example, like this is my cutting drawer, what I mean by cutting, anything that has a blade on it goes in there. Then I have my plier drawers, which has like my vice grips and your standard pliers, etc., needle nose, all that good stuff. Then the next drawer down, I have my drivers. This is all my miscellaneous drivers. Then I'll have my wrenches. Now these wrenches here are not all your standards. You got your flares and your Allen keys. Then I have a hammer drawer. This is all my big hammers. I like to hang everything on the wall as much as possible. Most of your commonly used tools. This here's my socket drawer. Just miscellaneous socket and some storage, garbage bags. I like using baggies to separate parts when I'm taking things apart. This way I can write on the baggie. And also, like with the garbage bags, I always keep a roll under the main garbage bag in the can. This way it's easy to change out. Over here is obviously my workbench. Right now I'm working on that forging of that lantern hook. As you can see, I started hanging up stuff like my common tools that I always go for, my hammers, my wrenches, my squares, some other little measuring devices, and of course you always have to have a radio. I'm a big advocate of having a bench grinder and a vise on my metalworking benches. It's an extra hand, makes cleanup a lot easier. Now on this bench has drawers in it, so I have that organized. And pardon me with the damn sun. My first drawer is like your typical desk drawer. It has all of your consumables in it, from saw blades to what have you. And then this drawer here has like my punches, my files. And then my next drawer is like some of my electrical stuff, like my meters, these little zip ties. And these zip ties here are not your typical ones. Those are the knob ones, great for hoses. Then I have storage for my nails, my screws, and my electrical. And of course, which shop doesn't have your miscellaneous bolts, nuts, and washers. My air compressor is all hooked up to my air hose. My pegboard there is for all my impacts, my hacksaws, extra hoses, anything to do with the fabrication area. And then we have the weld table. Also, I use it for the forge. Obviously, that's pretty self-explanatory. There's a rack that I made for my clamps. This is pretty much the main workhorse when it comes down to welding or forging. So we're gonna move over by the woodworking area. I have my miter saw. It's on wheels, but usually it always stays there. I have a scrap bin, which you're gonna see right in the bottom right corner. It's all emptied out already. Underneath is just a temporary storage of my walnut and my cherry. I'm gonna be doing some cutting boards out of it and probably be making a video on that too. Over on the opposite wall, I have my Wen drill press. It's completely leveled out with these feet. I got these off of Amazon. It worked good for what I needed to do with this little makeshift table. I want to touch on this Wen drill press real quick though. I've seen a lot of videos on it of how it can't drill through metal. Well, you're going to see in this video that I'll be drilling through 1/4 inch. It's just how you drill through metal and the proper ways of doing it. I've got my 2 benches down here. I got all my tools, my common tools, all hung up on French cleats or by nails. I'm a big advocate on that, more so than drawers. I got my 2 benches here, as I previously said. This one here is completely leveled out with the same kind of legs. This is more my assembly table and my main table, I should say, or bench. Over here's my other workbench that I have on wheels. I can pull out if I wanted to do some sanding and work around 2 benches. I want you to take a notice too that just like with the tool chest, I have everything labeled. For example, I have my woodworking bits, my sandpaper. On my other bench, I have it labeled for my measuring, and all my plug-in woodworking tools are in the cabinets. It works out really great with these 2 benches. Metalworking, greasy job, woodworking only. That's how I work it. Now let's move down to the end of the shop here. I have my planer over here. I like to have that on wheels. I can either put it in the center of the shop or take it outside with ramps out the doors in the summer. I like to keep this area clear. This is why I don't have a designated area for a table saw or nothing. This is for big projects. My shelf here I've been working on. My top shelf is mainly for towels, some of my welding supplies. I have a whip shelf, work in progress. That's projects that I've started and never was able to finish, repairs, anything that has to do with work in progress. When I have time, I'll fix it or finish whatever I started. It's a very crucial, always have a whip shelf. I have my contractor saw and my sander, my bench sander, which a contractor saw, I'm able to move right there. I can throw up some sawhorses with this piece of wood, tabletop, put it on top, do my milling if I'm doing the woodworking thing. We'll touch on the whole winterization in a minute. This shelf here is obviously my car fluids and my paints, and the bottom shelf is all my automotive repairs, like your breaker bars, blacksmithing, your big heavy items. Let me go over how I'm taking care of heating the shop. I live in Wisconsin. It gets cold here. And this is an old barn, as you can see with all the doors. So I just took some heavy plastic and I went poor man style and I just stapled it up to stop the gaps. You can see the sun coming down there, so you can see how wide that is. I think that's like 4 inches on all the doors. So I just kind of rigged it up just to stop some of that heavy draft that comes in here. And then I picked up one of these big buddies, this radiant heat, which I like because it actually works pretty good. I mean, it keeps you nice and warm. But then I put up a space blanket that I made. Well, I didn't make the space blanket itself, but what I did is I took a space blanket and took some Super S77 spray adhesive on a cheap tarp, and I put it up against, and I stapled it up against the storage wall there. So this way the radiant heat will bounce off of that and give just a little bit of extra heat. And it's working out pretty good. We'll find out what it is when it's like -10 out, but so far when it's been 20 degrees out, a lot of times I only have to work in a insulated flannel shirt and a hoodie.
Milwaukee's fast country, and I'm loving Ritter's 25 days of dishes. I mean, raspberry almond thumbprint cookies, white Christmas margaritas. Yes, please. Get those recipes and a bunch more on Ritter's Couch channel page at fm106.com.
Now, while I let the paint dry, I'm going to clean up real quick. You know, this is a really crucial part of any project that you work on, is that you want to make sure you clean up after yourself, because even if you're in the middle of a project and you're planning on working on it the next day, what usually will happen is that something else will come up, and next thing you know, you have tools scattered all over the place. And then as that progresses, it becomes a real pain in the ass, and you're gonna get frustrated, and you're not gonna get hardly nothing done. So we'll just kind of I'll just clean up, and then when the paint's dry, we'll hang it up and you can see what the final result is. Well, the paint's all dry. As you can see, this is the final result. This lantern here is going to be mounted to, or it's going to be hanging off of this, and this is going to be mounted to the wall. All right, got one little project done off of that whip shelf that's behind you. Wife will be happy with it. You've seen a little bit of the update of my shop. Obviously, it's not done. Eventually, it will be, and I'll be filming as I go along with that. That's part of this poor man's workshop series. Once that's all taken care of, I'm going to be moving into bigger projects. It'll be a lot easier to film, and obviously, as I've stated in this video, an organized shop makes life a lot easier. So, with that all said, thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, share, help out this new channel. But with that said, I'm going to probably be moving on to a new project. Thank you for watching.